Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Well, it looks like we're back to Andor Mondays.
Yeah,
Because
it
we were
is.
being given a treat from Andor every Monday, and then they skipped last week, and I was irritated. But this Monday, we got a trailer, a new trailer, a really good trailer.
Much better than the first one.
Didn't have weird music.
Nope, it had the famous klaxon horn, which worked really well with the kind of beat that they had going as well. You could feel the tension.
It did. Because that's what this season's going to be. Tension in this trailer. All tension. In a good way.
No, this was so much better than the first trailer. Like, the first trailer was good. It gets you excited. But again, I think that was for the normies. Like, hey, look at their critically acclaimed show. And they put a bit of that in here, too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But this was like, hey, get excited. This is coming.
This was very exciting. They had a lot of really interesting quotes. There were some great visuals. The tension, you can feel it. And you got to see a lot of different character perspectives as to what does this season accomplish for them.
Well, yeah, I think what was cool is you're seeing all these characters that we don't see in Rogue One, and you see them in some precarious positions from time to time, and you're like, oh boy, this could go bad for a lot of characters.
Well, let's talk about some of the quotes that I found especially interesting, which was most of them, but...
All of them, but yeah.
We have a brief interlude between Cassian and Luthan. Cassian says, if it goes up in flames, and Luthan responds, it will burn very brightly.
Yep.
It kind of shows you their almost opposite takes on what they're doing. Cassian doesn't want this to fail. He wants these plans to be successful. He doesn't want the plan to go up in flames, which would mean people are getting hurt. And Luthan?
I think he wants to intentionally. I feel like this is the Gorman massacre, the no Russian thing. I feel like that's what's kind of being referenced here.
I don't know, because he's saying, if this plan goes up in flames, what's happening? And Luthan goes, well, it'll burn. It'll burn bright.
Yeah, but that...
Because chaos will happen if a plan fails.
Well, no, I see it as him saying if it goes up in flames, everybody's going to see this. It's going to be like this burning beacon.
No, I feel like this is more along the lines of the plan fails. The plan went up in flames. Chaos ended up ensuing is what's going to happen. And then what happens? Well, it burns. It burns brightly. It gets attention because now it's chaos. It's not a subterfuge. It's not a small thing anymore.
That's what I'm kind of saying. You almost... whatever
Luthan seems to want that, and Cassian doesn't, because
that's exactly what I'm saying.
A plan going up in flames is bad for the people on the ground.
Well, I feel like he almost wants the plan to go up in flames so that they see that this thing is going to go awry. I feel like this, again, I'm going to say a guess here. It's the Gorman massacre. Cassian doesn't exactly know what the plan is, that they want it to go wrong, and he's seeing some signs that things are going sideways, and he's like, well, what if this goes wrong? And he's like, then it's going to burn bright. Everybody's going to see it. It's going to bring attention to our cause.
Well, and in regards to if Luthan is actually the brains behind the Gorman massacre, will he give all of that information to Cassian?
No.
Does Cassian know the entirety of everyone's role, or he knows his role to play and doesn't realize how bad it's going to get because maybe Luthan has lots more planned that puts them at jeopardy?
That's exactly what I think is going on there. Cassian is sniffing out something is not wrong with this plan, and then he's like, well, if it goes wrong, it's going to burn. And then everybody sees. That's a guess.
I feel like Luthan's going to turn into a villain at some point.
He is kind of a villain. He's the necessary villain on the side of the good guys. That's kind of the whole point of the character. Like, it's to show us that, hey, it's hard to run a rebellion. It's hard to get people on board, which kind of ties into the Vix line later on, I feel like.
Well, yeah, she says, if I'm giving up everything, I want to win. I have to.
Yeah, because it's hard to get people to join a rebellion when they think they're going to lose and just end up in a worse position than they were before.
Right, you're sacrificing everything. You're sacrificing your life.
Potentially.
Your possible chance at happiness. You're sacrificing a home, a family. Yeah, you want to win. You're giving it all. That it has to mean something.
Well, yeah, even in terrible situations, sometimes you can carve out your own little piece of happiness, right? You can, as Jin said famously in Rogue One, you just don't look up. You don't look up, see the flags flying and all of that. So it looks like they have this nice little community with Brasso and some of the others have formed a little community. Everything's happy. And
some
they're
sort of farm type situation.
Something like that, yeah. And so the problem is, okay, well, we've got a nice little life here now. Do I really want to try to get involved in a bigger rebellion and ruin what I have? Do I want to risk that with the possibility that we're going to lose and lose badly?
All right, the next line of interest is Clea when she yells, it's a weapon. She calls it out. They're building a weapon. Yeah. It's the Death Star. It has to be.
Kind of surprised they give that away a little bit because that seems like one of the interesting points of how, not that she or we figure out how she figures it out, but to see that in the trailer felt a little strange.
What's interesting is do they follow, like, the chain? Cassian was in prison on Narkia 5. They were building something repetitively over and over. Everyone there was building something. Did they take maybe his experience and go, what were they building? And start tracking it down?
That's interesting. Didn't consider that. I mean, I considered the possibility that Cassian would be like, hey, I was in this prison for months, and we were building the same thing over and over. Whatever they're making requires a lot of these things.
Yeah, so do they kind of track his experience and go, oh my gosh, we figured out what you were building.
Could be.
He built part of the Death Star.
Yeah, he did, and then he helped blow it up.
The next is Mon, confirming we are definitely getting her Senate speech as to why she ends up on the run. She yells, the monster will come for us all.
I wonder who she's talking about.
The Empire, right?
It's either the Empire or the Emperor himself, potentially.
I don't know if she goes that far, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
She's definitely going to be denouncing the Empire.
Yes.
Yelling out that the monster will come for us all is a powerful moment, and I'm excited to see it because she charmed me in season 1. She is wonderful. We're going to see more aspects of her because we know we have a wedding. We see her dancing with abandon, giving her daughter away. And then we're going to turn around. We know there's a scene where somebody's going to be pulling a gun. We don't know where that's at.
Yeah, a lot of random things that we can try to put into place, but...
Right. But I am so excited to see the Senate speech. Because, we have to rank the best speeches in Andor. There are so many wonderful moments in the dialogue.
It's hard to beat Luthan.
It is. But can she do it in season 2?
I don't know. I don't know if you can beat Luthan. I'd be impressed.
It's hard, though, because season 1, you had Kinos. You have Andor gives a good speech. Nemec has a great speech. Luthan has a great speech. Marva has a fantastic speech.
They all do their part.
There's a lot of really good
dialogue. Mon will have hers here. I'm sure there'll be some others.
I'm sure there will be. And the last one that I wrote down, which is the one I find the most interesting, possibly, and confusing. Syril Karn, there's a future here for those who dare. What is he referencing? Is he talking about the Empire? Is he doing something different this season? Did he fall into a new crowd? There's a future here for those who dare.
Well, he saved Dedra, obviously, in season 1, which might endear himself to her a bit more than we see in season 1. So it could be he has found himself a new job and is looking for some new assets of his own.
But that's just an interesting way to put it, for those who dare.
Yeah.
Implying that whatever future he is seeing is something that would require risk.
Yeah, potentially.
I'm just very intrigued by that line. Because joining the Empire, like, he's that kind of guy. I mean, why would he say there's a future there for, there's a future here for those who dare? It doesn't sound like a big daring adventure to join and be part of the Empire. That's not a daring adventure. That's not the next path. That's just
it looks like
something normal.
It looks like he's at his old job, too, in that big office building, basically. I forget exactly what that was.
Boring.
Well, yeah, boring. But, I mean, I could be wrong. He could be in a different kind of uniform. But it looks like he's back at that.
The line I just find very intriguing because you wouldn't call working for the Empire something as in taking any sort of a risk or something you dare. What if he's convincing Dedra to go and do some new profession with him? Like, hey, why don't we go here? There's a future there for those who dare.
Well, we do see Dedra having like a panic attack, too. That's something worth mentioning. I'm sure there's going to be some people theorizing she's like being choked by Vader or something. But I'm pretty sure it's just like a panic attack she's having.
Right. She might have learned something, or maybe she's lost faith in the Empire. Who knows?
Maybe she had something shaken when she realizes what actually goes on behind it. Though she seems like somebody who'd be down with it.
Shaken or what if she's just having a bad reaction to how she was treated at the end of season 1? She almost lost her life to a crowd, to a rabble. Could she possibly now have panic attacks?
Yeah, that's certainly possible.
If she was on scene at the Gorman massacre, for instance, she would panic, I think. She was almost killed by a crowd of random people who are angry and yelling.
It seemed like she was in the ISB building. It seemed like she was somewhere Imperial. You can tell by the gray of the walls, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's having some sort of reaction or to the memories of what almost could have been. I mean, they were going to tear her limb from limb. She was going to be murdered.
I think we've seen her at the potential Gorman massacre site, that big crowd.
Yeah.
I think we have seen her in there.
I think that could scare her too. Maybe they said that they were sending her to this area of unrest, and maybe she starts panicking.
Yeah, because we also see her giving an order, I think, in the other trailer or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're putting the whole season together.
Oh, yeah. Something happens at some point with some characters. It's going to be great.
But only for those who dare.
Only for those, and I hope people dare because season 1 was so good. So
Mm-hmm.
dare to watch season 2. But no, this was a much better trailer than the first one, which was
I
fine.
agree.
But this one got you even more excited.
I'm curious if we'll get anything else. I mean, we've got 4 weeks.
Celebration, maybe.
We gotta get some more, right?
Maybe.
Probably some
I mean, we'll
TV
get, yeah,
spots.
they'll do
maybe
those
some more
TV, yeah.
interviews. Some little
That kind of stuff, yeah.
tidbits. Yeah.
Definitely those like 30-second TV spots. They always hit us with a dozen of those. But for now, that's all we got for you this time. So it is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of the newest Andor trailer. And let's talk some Star Wars. And so until next time, thanks for watching.